It's time to blackball Notre Dame until they get in line with the rest of college football and join a conference. I've got a bunch of solid reasons why and a specific game plan on how to do it for the betterment of college football, and the Big Ten may be involved. Locked On Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Shemon, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, hit that free subscribe button down below. That way, you'll never miss a single episode. And if you could also share, follow, and like, that helps us out too. And did you know you can hype YouTube videos as well? Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, then visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. So it's time to blackball Notre Dame, force them to conform to the same rules that everybody else has to play with. And we got the latest Big Ten news, players of the week, and some hoop news as well. And then we'll have our final Big Ten football power rankings that we've been doing all season. But in the meantime, look, I feel like I've been a lone voice in the darkness regarding what to do with Notre Dame football. And I got to tell you, it's been lonely at the top. But something changed out there this week where I don't feel so lonely in my hot takes anymore regarding Notre Dame football. I think everybody's getting kind of tired of Notre Dame's special rules, so their special treatment with college football, because we've had to accommodate their independence and find a way to shoehorn them into our complicated college football playoff system each and every year. I will tell you, it is complicated because of Notre Dame. And I've had enough of it. In fact, I know many of you may have listened to and saw our podcast yesterday. I jumped all of it. It's got a different angle, different things I want to talk to you about here today. But it seems like everybody else has had it too. And they've had it with Notre Dame's whining, and they're complaining after the fact that they got left out of the playoffs. And it's because everybody has always realized that Notre Dame seems to always get the benefit of the doubt anytime they're on the bubble for college football's playoffs, at least in years past. Well, this year didn't work out for them. Now they're all upset. They're very vocal about it. Or maybe it was just their overall arrogance about the whole situation that really turned people off. Up until now, Notre Dame has received the benefit of the doubt every single year that they're on the playoff bubble. The rules are tailored and morphed to give Notre Dame the best possible path to join everybody in the college football playoffs every year. This year didn't work out. So this year, Notre Dame's calling the playoff system, which they helped create, by the way, they're calling it fraudulent. Okay, that's rich, Notre Dame. Thank you. Thank you very much. What's fraudulent is that Notre Dame's athletic director, Pete Bavacqua, and his predecessor, Jack Swarbrick, they've had a seat at the table of the college football playoff committee made up of commissioners like Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey, for example, making the rules of the college football playoffs. In what other world would one sole athletic director from one school and commissioners from other conferences all be held in equal regard? It doesn't make sense, but that's what we do. That's how we bend over backwards for Notre Dame all the time. And then how about Bavacqua going on national radio this week, just ripping the ACC for advocating for Miami instead of Notre Dame? Miami is a full-time member of the ACC. Notre Dame's a part-time member of the ACC. All right? And they were all both up for that last playoff spot. What do you expect the ACC to do? They advocate for everybody. This is why a lot of people don't like Notre Dame. But they got to advocate for everybody in their conference, not just Notre Dame. Other conferences are firing back. The ACC, as a matter of fact, didn't like those comments. And so they issued a statement from Commissioner Jim Phillips. He basically said, hey, Notre Dame, thanks for your business and all, but we advocate for all members of the ACC, not just Notre Dame. Boom, put him in his place a little bit there. Even Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, he called Bavacqua's behavior this week egregious. He said that his comments on radio were out of bounds. And Yormark then said, and I'd even tell him to his face if he were right here right now. Sounds like that next meeting where everybody gets together might be a little contentious. So right now, I'm telling you, these are my words. This isn't a report from somebody else or anything like that. I'm saying this. I want everybody else to jump on and realize that now is the time for college football to be strong. It is time for college football to take a step further. And it's time for college football to put its foot down and turn its back on Notre Dame and its independence for the rest of college football. Right here. It is time to blackball Notre Dame. It is time to tell Notre Dame, we're tired of your special rules and we're tired of you. And then, we got our rules for everybody else and the Notre Dame rules. We're done with it. This is 2025, man. We're all in this business. We're all fighting for ourselves out here. Forget it. We're not giving you any advantage. We're fighting for our own lives over here. You may think that all the at-large bids in the college football playoffs is to let the little guy have a shot, like James Madison or Tulane. We really have at-large bids for the big guy, Notre Dame, so that they have a path to get into playoff. That's why that exists. It's time to tell Notre Dame that it's no longer acceptable for you to make the playoffs and then keep all the money for yourself. These schools get like $6 million per game. If you're independent like Notre Dame, you keep all of it. If you're another school like Indiana or Ohio State or Oregon, you got to split that up among the Big Ten and 18 teams. Which you may go, all right, well, so Notre Dame's got a sweet deal. So what? Well, in this day and age where revenue share is the driving force, is the heartbeat of college football, why are we letting Notre Dame have all of its revenue while everybody else is sharing? Propping up all the teams in their conference. It's not fair anymore. It's too huge of an advantage now for Notre Dame. We can't keep doing that. I explained this in detail in my podcast yesterday on Locked On Big Ten. If you want to go back for a second, listen after this one as I spell it all out. But it's absolutely not fair to continue to do this. We can't allow Notre Dame to continue to get a full cut. Meanwhile, you may ask yourself, all right, so you say, Craig, how do you blackball Notre Dame? What do you have in mind here? How do you blackball them into conformity? Well, rule number one, you tell them that they have to be part of a conference. I mean, we're meeting. We're trying to figure out how the college football playoffs are going to be. Are we 14 teams? Are we 16 teams? Do we have automatic qualifiers? Tony Petitti, the Big Ten, and Greg Sankey, the SEC, they're the guys controlling this, and they can't agree, partly because we got all these little side rules for Notre Dame. But those guys are calling the shots. They need to come out and say, hey, Notre Dame, there's only one way to get into the college football playoffs, and that's through your conferences and conference championships and conference runner-ups. Get in a conference. Boom. They need to lay down the law and make that happen. That's number one. All right. So next, stop scheduling Notre Dame in non-conference games. If they don't have anybody to play, they'll have no choice but to join a conference to fill their schedule. I know, I know they got a partial deal with the ACC. I think they have to play 5 ACC games a year. But what was weird is Clemson just caved, and I don't know what they're trying to. Clemson signed a long-term, multi-year contract to make sure that even though Clemson's an ACC school, they get Notre Dame every year for like just a bunch of years out. Auburn out of the SEC has a multi-year deal with them. Texas does. Alabama, Florida, even Indiana does in like 2030 or 2031 or both. Indiana's been getting rid of all of its Power 4 big-time schools in this non-conference. But that one they kept. Get rid of those. Force Notre Dame to scramble for its scheduling over the next 5 years. And then they'll go, wow, we better get in a conference so we can fill our schedule. Hey, we'll give them their pick of conferences to choose from. I'm sure any conference would welcome them in as a full member. Probably go right to the ACC. If you're in the ACC, you get to the ACC championship probably almost every year, and there's your path to the playoffs, Notre Dame, fair and square. Even though the ACC was barely good enough this year to get any teams in the playoffs. That'd be pretty ideal for Notre Dame, I would think. Maybe they could play Miami every year in a conference championship game instead of a September game. Or maybe Florida State or Clemson will get good and they'll be in the championship game as well. But the problem is, as my everydayers will tell you, that the ACC is going away. It's got this horrible TV deal. And as soon as it becomes affordable to do so, probably by the end of this decade, teams are going to leave. That conference is going to implode. And then where's Notre Dame going to be? So that's not good. And plus, like I just said, Notre Dame has just upset the ACC anyway with their comments this week. So in reality, Notre Dame needs to join the Big Ten. You make more money there. You play more real teams, more interesting games. You'll play in a conference that will get more teams in the playoffs. You finish in third place in the Big Ten, you're going to the playoffs. Can't say that about the ACC right now or the Big 12. So that might be a path, certainly. That's how the Big Ten can help out. So Notre Dame's got 4 Big Ten teams on the schedule anyway next year. They're practically a member of the conference just like they are the ACC. They got 1 foot on one side of the street and 1 foot on the other side of the street. And by the way, if they join the Big Ten, the rivalry with USC will continue. Make it your rivalry game. It's been going on for 100 years. It's about to end this upcoming year in 2026. Everybody seems to be all upset about it. Well, if you're in the same conference, there's your rivalry game. That's how you keep that rivalry going, if it's that important to everybody. And now the third thing, is talk about Notre Dame's NBC deal, national TV deal. Look, everybody's on national TV now. It's not a big deal. You can find every team every week. And NBC is already a broadcast partner of the Big Ten. So this will be an easy merger here. You can even let them play on Big Ten Saturday night every 3 weeks. Whatever you want to do, fine. Well, it's time for Notre Dame to conform with the rest of college football, not the other way around. And even if that means we have to turn our backs on Notre Dame and blackball them to get their attention, then and only then will college football start running smoothly again. We'd love to hear your comments on this. You know, yesterday we did a pretty strong anti-Notre Dame piece, and I expected a lot of blowback from Notre Dame people because they get a little sensitive, and they've hammered me pretty hard in the past. I was stunned at almost how the percentage comment, the positive comments yesterday was like 90% positive. A lot of people agree with me. The tide is turning. People think the same way that I do. That's my plan. What do you think about it? Hit me up in the comments. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you never miss a single episode. And you can share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten as well. We have a website, talkbig10.com, number 10. All of our podcasts go there for second listen, and you can click on your school logo and get your favorite school merchandise in time for the holidays, shirts, pennants, hats, all that right there, talkbig10.com. All right. Got some Big Ten news for you. UCLA introduces its new head coach. We got the players of the week, a little basketball news for you as well. And then we will have our weekly and final Big Ten football power rankings. That's coming up next. All that here on the way on Locked On Big Ten. NFL Sundays move fast, and one big play, and suddenly the momentum in a game changes like that. And that's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. And with FanDuel, you can place bets as action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. And when the momentum shifts, you can jump in there and jump in with the live betting with FanDuel. Maybe a receiver gets hot. Maybe a defense gets an interception. The other night, Jalen Hurts had 4 interceptions. That's a lot of tide turning. These primetime games, they're hitting the unders. Dallas, Detroit a couple of weeks ago, that was an exception. But even the overtime, it goes overtime with the Chargers and the Eagles. They hit the under. That's what I do. I like the unders on the primetime games. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you with FanDuel.com. Thanks for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day. And look, you've also made us the number 1 sports podcast network. So you already live your team every day, and now you can level it up, all right? And go ad free. Join the Everydayer Club. Do it today. Get Locked On Big Ten with no interruptions. Members only Discord access to other exclusive podcasts, all for $5 a month. $50 a year. Here's what you do. Go to lockedonbig10.supercast.com. lockedonbig10.supercast.com, or check the link in the show notes and learn more. Check it out. So Bob Chesney, he's the new head football coach at UCLA. Been threading the needle here these past few days between getting James Madison ready for a playoff game against Oregon and also putting the staff of the team together at UCLA. So he had his introductory press conference on Tuesday. And don't forget, he had strong interest from Penn State too, but he gets a 5-year deal, $6 to $7 million a year. And it seems like to me, he already understands the culture at UCLA. He said, we don't need to be the other school in town, USC. We need to be the school in town. People like that. That was pretty good. UCLA needs someone to build a program from the studs up after Deshaun Foster. And at each of his previous stops, talk about Chesney, he got his team within to the conference championship within 3 years each time. And in fact, got James Madison to a college football playoff team within 2 years. And he took over when Curt Cignetti left. So UCLA hasn't hit double digits in the win column since the 10-3 season in 2014. They desperately want to get things going over there. Speaking of coaching changes, does anybody notice how many changes Matt Rule's making to his staff in Nebraska? Now, defensive line coach Terry Braden is gone. Defensive coordinator John Butler, he's already gone. Offensive line coach Donovan Raiola is already gone, which one has to wonder if the firing of the starting quarterback's uncle will have a negative effect. I'm not sure. But Raiola, the quarterback, Dylan, he got sacked. His uncle's offensive line was doing a lousy job protecting him. He got sacked so many times this year, ended up breaking his leg and missing the rest of the season. Hey, memo to teams looking for a starting quarterback. Former Michigan State quarterback and Arizona State quarterback, Sam Leavitt. He intends to enter the transfer portal, and he led Arizona State to a Big 12 and college football playoff berth last year. This year, he played in 7 games, but then he injured his foot and required surgery. So now he's looking for a new home. Some people think he may even go to the NFL draft, but he looks like he's going to hit the transfer portal. We'll see. I want to talk about the players of the week of the Big Ten in basketball. John Blackwell of Wisconsin averaged 28 points and 6 boards per game to lead Washington. I said lead them to a pair of wins. He had 26 points and a career best 11 rebounds in their win over Northwestern, and also posted 30 points and 6 of 12 shooting for 3 range to lead the Badgers to a 76 win over Marquette, his third 30-point game per year. Sorry, I said Washington. That's a Wisconsin basketball player there. Then from Washington, Haynes Steinbach, freshman of the week, returned from a 3-game absence with 26.5 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. And Washington split a pair of games. He connected on 75% of his field goals from the field, 15 of 18 from the free throw line, grabbed 11 offensive rebounds in 2 games as well. Had a game where he shot 11 of 12 from the floor, 29 points and 10 boards. Unfortunately, it was an 82-80 loss to UCLA. So just remarkable there. And a shout out to a couple of women's players around the Big Ten. Lauren Betts from UCLA was the player of the week around the conference. Open Big Ten play with a 24-point, 14-rebound performance against Oregon. It's her 4th Big Ten player of the week honor. And freshman of the week goes to Sarah Parchment. Sarah Parchment from Illinois, who averaged 15.5 points, 12.5 rebounds during Illinois' 2-0 week that they had, winning up a couple of wins this week. So congratulations to her as well. Back to men's basketball for a minute. We got a couple of games tonight. Wednesday night, Minnesota coming off an easy win over Indiana. They're at number 6, Purdue. Purdue was off to a great start, number 1. Now they're 8-1. They had the historic loss at home for a number 1 ranked team to Iowa State, 81-58. Now Iowa State is up there. Purdue falls to 6. That game is tonight, 7 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. And then Wisconsin at 7-2, taking on number 23 Nebraska. The Huskers are 9-0. Great start. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central on the Big Ten Network. If you are new, we always do special features at the end of our podcast, which makes us unique. We hope you enjoy them. Every Monday, we take a look at our top 10 Big Ten observations for the weekend. Tuesdays, we do Tuesday tweets. Wednesdays, today, we power rank stuff. This is going to be our last power ranking of the Big Ten football season. So we'll have that. See if you agree or disagree with that. Tomorrow, we'll have our Big Ten classics and live action for the weekend. Going to start looking at some basketball now, right? And also Fridays, we make our pigskin picks. We got a bowl game with Washington. We got the Heisman. We got odds to win a national championship. Of course, 3 Big Ten teams are in the playoffs. We'll take care of all that. Plus, we'll compare them to the preseason odds for the championship from last August. We'll have a lot of fun with that. That's coming up on Friday's podcast as well. So we'll be back with our power rankings in just 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. Let's talk about something that most men do not bring up, but they should. Stress from work, money, life. It doesn't just switch off at night, and sometimes it can show up at the worst possible time. Rougiette Ready is designed to help you take back control in the bedroom. Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment created to support both the brain and the body so you can feel present and confident and ready when it matters most. It combines 3 clinically proven ingredients into 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue. It absorbs fast, and these ingredients are designed, again, for both the mental and the physical as well. So if you've been thinking about taking the next step, now's the time. Head to rougiette.com/lockedoncollege. Need to spell Rougiette? RUGIET.com. Rougiette.com/lockedoncollege. And get 15% off your order for a limited time. Rougiette Ready. Feel present. Feel confident. Feel ready with Rougiette Ready. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten. We always appreciate you and you everydayers out there. Thank you very much. All right, it is time for our final Big Ten football power rankings. We've been doing these every Wednesday throughout the season. A lot of interesting movement from here or there. I'm going to put it on the screen, so if you're audio only, no problem with Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcast. But here we go, full screen with this. Now, I'm going to start. If you're new, I think I know we were the first media outlet, podcast, whatever you want to call it. We were the first to put Indiana ahead of Ohio State in our power rankings. We did this move about 2 months ago. I told you, I thought Indiana had a better roster from top to bottom. A lot of you kind of gave me the side look, like, what are you talking about? And here we are. Guess who was proven right? Indiana, number 1. Again, this isn't just because they won on Saturday, won the Big Ten championship, and the only undefeated team less than the country. It was because 2 months ago, we said, you know what? I think Indiana's roster is better. So here we are. Now they're getting ready to go to the Rose Bowl to take on the winner of the Oklahoma-Alabama game. By the way, Oklahoma won at Alabama 23-21 in Tuscaloosa earlier this year, just to kind of give you a vibe how this could go. And we, Big Ten fans, saw Oklahoma beat Michigan in week 2, was it? That was with Sharon Moore. It was the last game before he was suspended, but it was Bryce Underwood's first big-time road game. Those defensive edges were just incredible, pinching in the Michigan offense. And don't forget, they got John Mateer at quarterback back from his midseason injury. So we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Ohio State sitting at number 2. Got the win over Michigan to end their season. Epic defensive performance and battle against Indiana. Ended up losing that game in a squeaker. And they await the winner of Miami at Texas A&M. By the way, an opportunity perhaps for Ohio State to beat both big-time Texas schools, Texas and Texas A&M. Cotton Bowl, New Year's Eve, all right? Got Oregon sitting right where they should be, number 3. So these are the 3 playoff teams. Solid wins over Iowa, USC, and Washington down the home stretch. They will have a home playoff game versus James Madison December 20th. They are already 3 touchdown favorites in that game. We will go live here on Locked On Big Ten after that game. All right? And then moving forward, got USC sitting at number 4. Look, they had their chance. They had their big game against Oregon. I think they came up short. They're going to face TCU December 30th in the Alamo Bowl and looking for a 10-win season and a number 1 recruiting class. class of 2026 coming in, so they should be good to go. Let me back up for just a minute for a moment. I know I was distracted by a thought. Oregon, when they play their playoff game against James Madison on December 20th, the winner will then take on Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl, January 1st. That's what I wanted to mention. Number 5, Michigan. Look, they could still have a 10-win season. They got Texas in the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, December 31st. And then I think next year, and look, that's up from a 7-win season last year. Well, 8 after they beat Alabama in the bowl game. 2-win improvement. That's good. That's good. Big expectations for Sharon Moore and Bryce Underwood next year in 2026. Moving on, Iowa. They've had 4 close losses, separating them from a great season, a good season from a great season. Still solid, but they want that USC, the Oregon, the Indiana, the Iowa State game, any one of those games. You win 1, maybe 2 of them, we're talking a different conversation here. But on December 31st, they will face Diego Pavia, a Heisman finalist, and Vanderbilt in the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa. Washington is at number 7. They flirted in and out of the top 25 this year. Lost the season finale to Oregon. Saturday, they'll be the first bowl game up for the Big Ten, facing Boise State in the LA Bowl at SoFi. And I'm still bullish on quarterback Damon Williams Jr. for the Huskies. I am. Number 8, Illinois, another team that flirted in and out of the top 25. I'm still trying to figure out how they lost to Wisconsin. That game could cost them a 10-win season. It's a bit of a head-scratcher for me. They will face Tennessee and Nashville for the Music City Bowl, December 30th. Going for a 9-win season. Still not bad for Brett Bielema. Northwestern coming in at number 9. Had interesting finish to the season. They walk-off loss to Michigan. Late field goal win versus Minnesota. Then the loss, I believe, by a touchdown to Illinois. But they look to finish with, they're all evened up now. They look to finish with a winning record by beating Central Michigan at Ford Field, December 26th in the Game Above Sports Bowl. Penn State rounds out our top 10. They won 3 in a row to close it out, had that shootout with Rutgers. And that was after losing to Ohio State and Indiana. Since then, I thought they played really well. Matt Campbell's their new head coach. He's going to keep interim coach Terry Smith on. And I have respect for Penn State. If there was one team out there that might have opted out of a bowl game like Notre Dame, might have been them with the season they had. But no, they're in. They're going to play Clemson in the Pinstripe Bowl on December 27th. Let's flip the page here and look at the best of the rest and see what's going on here. Nebraska got them at number 11, and they did not finish strong. Ever since they lost Dylan Raiola, they kind of skidded to the finish line. But they are going to go New Year's Eve in Las Vegas. So they got an afternoon game, late afternoon game facing Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl. And then they got the evening free in Las Vegas on New Year's Eve. That could be cool or dangerous. Minnesota coming in at number 12. Another solid but not great year for PJ Fleck. They're going to face New Mexico in the Rate Bowl, December 26th in Phoenix. At least they'll get some sunshine, get out of the state of Minnesota for a while. Wisconsin's at number 13. You know, they got a couple of ranked wins late in the year to kind of slowly turn things around, and people are already looking forward to their season opener against Notre Dame at Lambeau. Rutgers, they opted out of a bowl game. Greg Schiano. Look, I thought they had a great fight. They always do. They had plenty of offense this year, but their defense was just, they didn't have one. And that's what cost them some more wins this year. UCLA coming out number 15. We'll see what Bob Chesney era does there for the Bruins as they look ahead to next year already. Michigan State also with a new coach with Pat Fitzgerald. At least they got a Big Ten win in their season finale against Maryland. Maryland finishes 17th, started out 4-0, then lost the remaining 8 games of their season. Mike Loxley will return. They finished 18th, and I got Purdue at 18, coming off that big loss to Indiana and losing 10 straight in Barry Odom's first year with Purdue. That was tough. We'll see if he can get things turned around now that he's got a feel for things over there and the kind of kid that he wants. We'll see what happens at Purdue for 2026. All right, still lots coming up. We got the rest of the week. We'll keep an eye on the Heisman chase. That's on Saturday. And then we got playoffs starting December 19th and the 20th. We're looking forward to that. I want to thank you for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen every day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Again, you already live your team every day. Now take it up to the next level. Ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Big Ten with no interruptions, members only, Discord access, exclusive access to other podcasts as well. Plus, that's just for $5 a month or $50 a year. So go to lockedonbig10.supercast.com or check the link below in the notes for more details. That'll do it for us. Thanks for checking us out for yet another explosive episode. See what happens with Notre Dame. We'll see what happens with the Big Ten moving forward in the postseason here. We got you covered either way. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Shemon. We'll see you next time.